Hello y'all, welcome back to Amber's Journey. Today I'm just going to jump right into a budgeting video. You have already seen my July budgeting here. I have everything written out. There's a few things that changed, so I marked them off on here, but mostly it's all the same. So what I did here was I went ahead and wrote out everything to start with so we can get started. Just putting in some dates here. All right, so what we're going to start with first is the full monthly budget. So this is my monthly budget. Now, whenever I estimate my income, I do underestimate a lot, just to make sure that I don't cut myself short. So I base everything off of my base pay and my hourly pay. I do make commissions, so it does change and fluctuate, but sometimes my commissions end up not mattering after taxes and everything comes out. So this is my take-home pay after hourly. So for the month, I'm estimating $2,200 take-home pay. So these are all of my bills for the month, and then I do have it extending over here. I marked out sinking funds. I don't plan on doing any right now whenever it comes to the pre-budget. Now, whenever I get my actual checks, I probably will do some cash stuffing if I have, extra money that comes in from my commissions. But as of right now, I just want to make sure the regular bills are paid and everything's good to go. So I have my hourly pay here for the month. I have $2,200, and then I have all my bills. I have my gas, my subscriptions. I have 2 different times that they come out a month. Missouri revenue, because I am paying back state taxes because of the whole tax fiasco for 2021, which I'm not going to get into that. OnStar, I do have that in my car. It's roadside assistance, but also emergency assistance. I refuse to get rid of that. That's one of the things that's non-negotiable for me. I've already used it multiple times in the past year, and it's definitely worth it. I have PayPal. I put PayPay. This is PayPal. I do have a line of credit with them, so I need to make my monthly payment. My electric, Amazon Prime, my car note, and insurance. I just added them together to save space. They're due like 2 days apart. AT&T Internet. I do have a loan that I had gotten for consolidation on some of my debt, and then rent for August. I do include this in my July budget because July's rent is paid from June. And so August rent is going to be paid by July's last check. So I always incorporate that in. So my total fixed expenses comes to $1,776. That's all of these added together. So I have a remaining of $424. So the rest of this is going towards food, gas, and myself. I do give myself allowance because everybody needs to. You have to have money in case something comes up, in case you need something. I do vape. I drink occasionally, just in case I ever want it. And then I added that all up. And if you see, I have food for $200 for the month. I do split this expense with my fiance. Gas has gone up dramatically. So I went up for the monthly quite a bit from last month. That's paycheck. I didn't even do a monthly budget for June. What is going on? This is why I also do it on here, so I'm held accountable. So gas, I started going up in May, but previously to this, I was doing $100 every month, and it was working out $50 every 2 weeks. Well, now it's a good $70, $80, so I'm budgeting $80 per every 2 week period because I get paid every 2 weeks. And then after all that comes out, I have $14 left. I'm putting that in a buffer. I'm just going to leave it in my account like it's not there, just in case I need it or a bill ends up being more expensive than what it's supposed to. All that fun stuff. So here is my weekly. Let's zoom you in a little bit on this one. So or my paycheck, should I say, not weekly. So I am expecting to get $1,100 on my check on the 8th. So these are the first bills for the month that come out of that check. Comes to $373, so I have $727 left. I took out my food, gas, and myself. So if you look at my monthly budget, you see I did 200, 160, and 50. So I just took half of that and put it into my actual paycheck budget over here. So that's there, that's 205, so I have 522 left. Now this is not extra money. This is already accounted for in our monthly budget. So even though I don't have as much coming out at the beginning of the month, I do at the end of the month, because I have this $500 for my car insurance and car note. I have my $86 loan coming out, and I have rent. So what I'm doing with this, and I put it as buffer for myself, but really this is going for the next set of bills and the next pay period, because my next check, if it's $1,100 also, is not going to cover all the bills coming out. I make enough to cover it, but not in each check. So I do have to save from one check to the next to pay my next bills. So I went ahead and put that all in the buffer, so then I have nothing left. So if you see here, I have $1,100, expenses is $578. I'm putting the rest of that into the buffer there, so that way I don't have to worry about my next set of bills, how I'm going to pay it if my check's short or something like that. Now, if my checks are over, like I said, I'll probably do some cash stuffing, or I'll go ahead and slide it into my savings, do some extra debt payments, and we'll figure that out as we go. I always budget for the baseline of my check, because there are some times, because I am hourly, but I do make commissions, there's some times my commissions are not that much, and I am basing it off my hourly. And then after all the deductions come out, because I do have taxes, insurance, 401k, and Roth IRA, those come out of my check before this number. So if my commissions are not that big, this number sometimes is less than this after everything's said and done. So I always budget on the lower end of what I think I'm going to make, just to be on the safe side. So I make enough to cover my bills, I have enough left over for the next set of bills, and we're good to go. So whenever I do get paid, I will come back and show you what my actual budget looks like and everything paid. Now Spire, if you watch my last budgeting video, Spire was supposed to be paid with my last check, but my last check ended up being a lot less than what I had wanted it to be. So you see here, I budgeted for $1,100, again on the lower end usually of the spectrum. My actual check was less than that. It was only about $30 less, but that's a huge difference when you have a huge budget like this. So that took out Spire, which I marked down that I paid it, but I ended up not paying it because I couldn't. These are more important. Spire is not due yet, but I like to pay it ahead. So that's why I usually pay it with this check, but because it was shorter than what I expected, I can go ahead and wait for this check, which is fine, which is great, because that's why I plan ahead, and I usually pay ahead on all of my bills, just to try to stay ahead on everything, even if it's just one or two bills, especially when you have a tight income like this. This is real life planning. This is one income household. This is, lower income based planning. And this is what I do. So my goal for this month, for July, I do want to try to save $300. Again, my commissions vary, so I'm hoping to make a lot more than this, but that's what I'm basing my budget off of. Any extra money is going towards sinking funds or my savings or extra debt payment. Now, I do also want to go ahead and try to start paying down my PayPal. So $55 is the minimum payment. I am shooting to pay at least $100 on it this time. So it just, the budget is the baseline. And then what you actually do is going to sometimes vary. And it's going to be different, especially if you make more, if you make less, things like that. And you just adjust. This is not a set in stone, follow every step along the way kind of thing. This is so that you can see where you are, know exactly what's going on with your bills, with your budget, with your money, and then you adjust along the way. That's just how life is in general with everything, and budgeting's the same. You are not failing if something comes up and you can't do this exactly the way you have it laid out. You have to be flexible and adjust, just like everything else. Things come up, things happen. You get paid less one week than the other. For instance, this paycheck here normally would have my bonuses for June on it. Because of the holiday being on Monday, I am not going to get my bonuses until next check. So I have to wait 2 more weeks for the bonuses that I expected to have on this check. But as you see, I did not budget in any of my bonuses here. I didn't plan on it. I'm not budgeting any of my bonuses in here on my monthly. So any bonuses I get, again, are going to go towards my sinking funds, my saving, and extra debt payments. That's what I plan on doing with anything that comes up extra. So this is my monthly budget for July. This is my first weekly paycheck budget. If you guys have any questions, if you guys have any suggestions on things, this is the bare minimum for our family. I know I could cut out a lot of these subscriptions, but it's stuff that my daughter and my husband watch, and he does pay for some of them as well. If you don't know, he is disabled, so he is not able to work, but he does make a small amount from disability. But again, it is a small amount. It is not enough to cover any of these bills, so we don't count his income. Mostly goes to his medical needs and things along that line, and then his money's gone. So if you guys would please, if you've made it this far, like and subscribe down below. Leave me a comment with a little smiley face. Let me know that you saw the whole video, and I will see you guys in my next one after I get paid on the 8th. So I hope you guys have a great day. Bye, y'all.